bright and beautiful morning. Welcome and thanks for joining me here in Racine Family Mornings. I just realized something. I went through an entire broadcast earlier on a different channel. Hang on a second. Whoa, look at that. And there was light. Wow. Okay, so this morning, first of all, if you do find any value in this content, do me a favor. Click like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any content. And we come live every single morning for about 15 minutes just to kind of shoot the breeze with you. On Tuesdays, like today, we're going to do a home hack, something that can make your life a little bit easier. It might be something you already know. I get it. But I love this and it's super simple and I love doing it. So if you are on Facebook, of course, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share. Whether you are on Facebook or whether you are seeing us on YouTube, share this. Absolutely 1000%. Okay, so make sure you are sharing it and make sure you are with us on this. So let me see here. Dun, 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 dun. Where am I going here? Oh yeah, turning that off. All right, so today we have our home hack Tuesday. So if you, and let me turn this music down just a little bit, because as much as it's like geeing me up and getting me going this morning, it's a little bit distracting. So give me a half a second. I'm gonna turn that music down just a tad. There we go. Okay, so this morning, I am here to give you some really great information about a great waffle recipe. So you're like, wait a second. Everybody and anybody makes waffles. This is like so simple. So here's the thing. One of the things that I do on a regular basis when it comes to my cooking and baking in my house is, first of all, in the last year, Russ and I have really been on a journey to add more health to our lives. And he has now lost over 50 pounds. I've lost over 40 pounds. And we are just on this journey and we are ready to continue losing weight, which is awesome. But what's cool about it, and the coolest thing, is that we have done nothing but change the food that we eat and not expensive. In fact, we've gotten our grocery budget down to like almost nothing now. And for two people, we can live on an average of about $75 a week for two people. That's pretty cheap for all three meals, snacks, everything. And when my grocery budget, I even count things like my cleaning supplies, like for my dishwasher, for mopping my floor, those types of things. I include toilet paper, paper towels, trash bags. I include that in what I consider my grocery budget. So we've really gotten that down to about $75 a week. Sometimes it goes up into $100, but very close to that $75 a week on average, because there are some weeks we can just spend $50 and we're done and we're good. So it kind of balances out throughout the month. But one of the ways we've done that is through the recipes that I've developed that are cheap, easy, and inexpensive, and still taste good and still are awesome and amazing and fun. So one of those recipes that Russ loves a lot is my waffle recipe. Now, this recipe can actually be used for waffles or pancakes. It doesn't matter. The batter is the same. So if you prefer pancakes, make pancakes. But the batter is the same for waffles or pancakes. There is no difference. And so today I'm going to share with you my super easy waffle recipe. All right. So first things first, let's put this up. Let's go to this camera. Let's do this. Let's show you. No, maybe not that one. Let's go there. There we go. Waffles. All right. So what do you need for them? Well, first of all, you need flour. You need sugar, or why is this not spelling out? There we go. Sugar or sweetener of your choice. Okay. You need sugar or sweetener of your choice. You need baking powder. You need milk, eggs, and salt. So these are your basic ingredients. Now, I haven't given the proportions here, and the main reason for that is because it depends on how many you're going to make. So this morning, I made 6 full size Belgian waffles. That's what I did for this morning for our breakfast. And we're not eating 6 waffles, so don't worry. But I always make a bigger batch. For us, that is 3 meals. 1 Belgian waffle is enough for us as an adult. And it's not a full, like the waffle doesn't go all the way to the edges of the Belgian waffle. It just goes mostly there. So don't think that this is going to create like massive waffles that, oh my goodness. But I made 6 of them this morning. So the proportions I use will depend, the proportions you need will depend on the servings that you want. What's really cool about this is that this is something you can do with the kids. My suggestion is that you take the 5 minutes it takes to whip up the batter, and then you put the waffle iron on the table and let the kids scoop their own waffle into it. They're going to have to, each of them's going to have to wait. So start with the youngest. And obviously if they're really little, you're going to make it for them. But if they're like 5 or 6, let them take that scoop out. And you're going to need like a 3/4 cup scoop. Or I use a cup scoop and I just don't fill it completely. But grab the scoop and let them pour it into the waffle maker, because that's so much fun for them. And then they can close the lid. Now, while they're waiting, you can send them to the fridge to say, okay, there's a bucket of, sorry, I have a little bit of a tickle this morning. There we go. Hope I'm not picking up the cold that Russ has had, because I've been trying not to be near him as much as I can. You want them to be able to enjoy this and join in with you and have a ton of fun. And while you're waiting for it to cook, it takes 2. Okay, so I have one of those Belgian waffle makers that you can flip either way, and they are super cheap. If you want to know where to find one, drop a comment below and I will happily link you to the one that I got on Amazon. Super cheap, super simple if you don't already have a waffle maker. But they make really nice thick Belgian waffles. And there's got 4 sections. And you know what? Each kid is not going to eat a whole waffle. Let's be real. But maybe the youngest one that's old enough to scoop the waffle batter in is making it for them and for their little sibling who's a little bit younger. And do it that way. But then you can also, after everybody is still eating, you've got the waffle there. You can still sit there and eat your waffle and put in batter on the next one and still have fun watching the rest of them come out. So I recommend making a batch that's about 3 to 4 times what you need for your family on a morning. So if you've got 3 little ones, let's assume you have 3 little ones, because quite a few people in this area do. You got 3 little ones, that probably means you need like a waffle and a half, or if they're under the age of 10, definitely like a waffle and a half will be plenty from this recipe, because they're pretty thick and good sized waffles. If you decide to take this recipe and you do it as pancakes, oh my goodness, my mom used to do so many fun things with pancakes. She would take the pancake batter and she would like draw our names or our initials. Like, so I would get a K in the pan. You can just do that using a measuring cup. You just want to take a smaller measuring cup, like an 1/8 or a 1/4 of a cup measuring cup, and just scoop out a little bit and drizzle it, and then scoop a little bit more. Your kids will love seeing their initials. There is just something really fun about that. Now, is it a little harder to flip them? Sure, of course. And we're more waffle people than we are pancake people, so we're always going to do waffles. But it is such a simple recipe. You literally take all of these ingredients and you put them in a mixer and blend them up, which takes 5 minutes. And then the only time that it takes after that is the cooking time. Now, in my Belgian waffle maker, it takes 4 minutes per waffle. And I do what's called 2 minutes aside, because it is one of those ones like when you go to a hotel where they have the waffle makers and you can flip them halfway through. It tells you to flip them halfway through or to flip them to turn them out, whatever. Well, I have one at home that is like that. So what I do is I do 2 minutes on one side and then I flip it over and I do 2 minutes on the other side. And this would be true even if it's just pancakes in a pan. You're probably going to do about a minute to a minute and a half pancake in the pan, flip it over. Pans are a little bit hotter than waffle irons. So as a result, you're probably only going to do a minute to a minute and a half on each side, which would make it go faster for you. No lie. But what we do is we batch up 3 to 4 not servings, but like 3 to 4 meals at a time. And then what that means is we take the leftovers, and even if they are pancakes, you can do this. The best thing about it is you want to do pancakes, put them on a baking tray, stick them in the freezer, and let them freeze. As soon as they freeze, you can stack them up and put them in a Ziploc bag. And I don't know if you know this, but you can put, just like you can take waffles and put them in the toaster, you can put pancakes that are frozen in the toaster as well. If you didn't know that, now you do. So that is what you need. And if you want to know anymore. You're going to text home hack. Oh, let's get this one. Let's get the waffles off of there. You don't need that. All right. Let's just do home hack. There we go. So if you want to know anything about this, just text home hack with the word waffles so that I know which one you're asking, because we do this every week, a different home hack. Last week it was bread. This week it's waffles. So text me home hack and the word waffles to 262-676-2383, and I will just ask you a question or two so that so I know like what serving sizes you want, like what big of a family you have. Like, I mean, if you have 5 or 6 kids, I'm going to give you different proportions than if it's just 2 of you. So home hack to 262 with the word waffles to 262-676-2383, and I will happily send you my waffle recipe so that you can start batching and start eating healthy. And here's the thing. I know you're probably like, but why would I do that? I can just go to the store and buy Eggos or whatever. Next time you're at the store, read the ingredient list for what's on the back of those prepared waffles. If it's anything other than eggs, milk, flour, salt, sugar, baking powder, no. You don't need to be feeding your kids those chemicals. I know you don't want to be feeding your kids those chemicals. Start looking at boxes, folks. This is why Russ and I have lost so much weight, is because we've cut 90% of the chemicals out of our bodies. We still have a couple things. I still have my coffee syrup in the morning. Don't worry, I'm not giving that up. I still have my Crystal Light that I drink during the day. Not full strength, watered down, but still chemicals. So we're not completely eliminating chemicals, but we have cut them down 90%, and it has resulted in our having more energy, in our losing some weight, and us just generally being healthier overall. Of course, Russ is sick right now, but still, he used to get sick before as well. This is not any different than that. So overall, though, we have been much healthier, much happier, and a lot more energy. Partly from having lost some of the weight, but also partly just because the food is giving us energy and giving us fuel. So that's why I'm doing recipes for this home hack a lot, is because a lot of these recipes are really simple, really easy, and no chemicals added. You can do it. I know you can, and I know you want to. So join me again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Stat Snap Wednesday, where we are going to go over what's happened in real estate last week, and I can already tell you some interesting stuff. I'm like fascinated to see what happens. To be honest, I'm interested to see what happens next week, because next week will be really telling as far as what next Wednesday will be really telling as far as what's happening for the year in the quarter, like, because that will be the end of the first quarter, and that really gives us a good snapshot. But this week, the snapshot prices dropped like a rock for the 1 week. So anyway, talk to you later. I don't want to be on here too late. Oh, we're almost at the end of time. I promise you every day I'm going to be done before 9. Promises made, promises kept. Here we go. Have yourself a great and glorious rest of your day. Bye for now.